family? This is a Black Critique, aka Coffee. I'm here again bringing you another Tariq Nasheed commentary. Basically, it's about the video you see that he did. That was just horrible and despicable, full of lies and all kinds of stuff. So right now it's going to be Mama Africa versus Mama FBA. I'm just going to be giving a commentary throughout the whole video and pointing out his lies. So thanks for joining me. Enjoy the ride.
About Mama Africa, the concept of Mama Africa. Mama Africa. Now, why are we talking about that? Because I keep hearing...
The reason why you're talking about that is because you are nothing but slave-minded, proud house niggas. That's why you're saying that. You're saying that to dehumanize and to degrade your African roots and your African lineage, to make it seem that you're something other than being African. And you're going to prove that by kissing more ass of white people and degrading other black people. He's not going to give accolades to white people, but grown up in America, where you're the minority and the majority is white people, you want to be next and closer to white people. Remember, if we were to do a DNA test right now, right? A lot of black African Americans have a higher percentage of European within them versus the Caribbeans, where we don't have as much as we do. So me, I'm like 98% African, 1% Native American, and 1% Irish, right? Versus Americans, they're gonna have like double digits. They're gonna have like 20% European and 10% or 11% or something like that. So their percentage is very high. Also, they keep intermingling with white people. Like his punk coon ass is intermingling with white people. Like you're gonna see right there where he made a conscious decision to mess with a mulatto, right? That's white. As you can see, that she's white. So these Negroes love destroying their gene pool, right? To the point where they still know that they're cognizant that they're destroying their blackness, but they have to make sure that the person that's being black is a mulatto, right? So she could pass for black, but she ain't really black. She could pass for black, but she really white, right? So he's being totally dishonest when it comes to, why are people claiming Mama Africa?
This word come up. When we as foundational Black Americans, we're talking about understanding our...
What the fuck is a foundational Black American? This is some shit he made up out of his ass, right? This is something that he made up. He pulled out of his plantation-minded ass, right? A foundational Black American, according to him, or anybody that you ask that co-signs this bullshit, it does not negate or diminish or delete the African side of you, which is the roots, right? You would not be who you are. You would not exist if it wasn't for your lineage and link back to Africa, because you're Africans. White people kidnapped Africans to bring to the Americas. They did not kidnap failed bitch ass Americans, which is to me what FBA means. F stands for failed or failure. B stands for bitch ass, because you're a bunch of fucking bitch asses, because you're complaining and talking a whole lot of shit, right? Americans, because you guys are in America, you're Americans, but you're acting like coons. You act like y'all niggas is all up in the big house, and everybody, which is America, and the field Negroes would be the Caribbeans and the Africans and stuff like that, and y'all niggas think y'all better because you're in the big house with massa. Right? So, failed bitch ass Americans is nothing but some made up shit that still links you to you being African, but you don't want to be African. So if you don't want to be African, don't have any African lineage or link to Africa, then shut the fuck up about reparations.
Nationality and our identity. We're talking about understanding who we are and paying homage to who we are. We have a lot of non-FBA people coming to us talking about, well, damn it, y'all got to pay respect. Y'all still a part of Mama Africa. Y'all got to give it up for.
Yes, it's still a part of Africa. Where are they lying? And what's a non-FBA? Or is he talking about white people? Because white people are foundational black Americans. White people were there to instruct y'all proud house niggas. Niggas ain't nothing but tools. Nothing more than a hammer. Nothing more than a screwdriver or a wedge or a winch or a hoe. Because y'all sound like some hoe-ass niggas right now. You're a tool. So when he's saying foundational black Americans, what is he actually talking about? He's talking about black people? He's talking about white people? He's talking about Native Americans? Who is he talking about really? So when he says that, people, please keep that in mind.
Mama Africa. I keep hearing this theme being regurgitated. Whenever we as foundational black Americans are talking about what is supposed to come to us, people hop in our mentions with the Mama Africa talk. Like, for example, here,
No, stop lying. We're going to stop the lie right there. Black Americans have every right to talk about what goes on with them, the injustice that we face on a constant basis, the neglect from the American government. We have every right to say that. We have every right to represent who we are, what we are, and our plight, right? There's not going to be no taxation without representation. But what this bitch ass is not going to do, this bitch ass, punk ass, thiefing ass Negro is not going to do, is say that or try to paint this picture that, hey, we just stating our plight and what is duly owed to us, and this is all that we're saying, and and then people, hey, you can't get that. You don't owe reparations. Reparations is not owed to you. Why are you thinking right? That's not what's going on. And that's that bait and switch, and most of your listeners are too fucking slow to even get that. If you're gonna use FBA only to represent getting reparations, fine. But when you use FBA to get reparations and also dehumanize and attack other black cultures, then FBA comes synonymous with hate, as well as reparations. It's not isolated only to reparations. It's represented as we need reparations, and it's also represented as a hate group, as a black hate group attacking other black groups, because this black hate group, FBA, feels that it is more superior than other black groups. So, no, we're not going to do that.
We're talking about our Aboriginal connections here, and somebody from Somalia jumped in here. Africa never left me. I'm not currently in the motherland, Brother Tariq, but Mama Africa is still within my bloodstream.
Now, I don't understand see how he said it real quick? He says, our indigenous. No, nigga, you are indigenous to Africa, and you came here. So this whole $2 Indian bullshit that Tariq is trying to draw is that, again, he's taking something very small. He's very good at taking something very minuscule and blow it up to something than bigger than what it is, right? So he took the little tiny divide that Black Americans may have with Caribbeans and Africans, and he put a huge wedge in between them because he's a fucking agent. And if he's not an agent, he's doing agent shit. But one thing for sure is that he's doing this for clout, he's doing this for recognition, and he's doing this for money. All this comes down to the bottom line, which is money. And this is the only reason why he's doing it. So this is a person who has no integrity, person that has no honor, and is pretty much a fake pro-black person. So this small divide he's trying to do, of course there are a very small, minute, significant portion of African Americans that have Native American lineage because we fought in the Seminole War. Black people fled, which were the Maroons. Any black person that fled slavery, doesn't matter if you're in the Caribbean or in the Americas, they're pretty much considered Maroons, right? A lot of that happened in the Caribbean. That doesn't mean you become automatically native to the country. That makes no fucking sense. And if you do, some of them intermarried with some of those allies known as Native Americans. It wasn't a lot of us that did that, but it was some of us. So he's trying to make this big divide, and try to do this bait and switch of no, like most of us was really Native American. Yeah. Some of us, intermingled with those with our allies to fight on Europeans, but some of us was already here. So if that's the case, again, why the fuck are you arguing about reparations when it's really not yours? You see what I'm saying? It makes no sense. So this has nothing to do with the Somali woman saying that, hey, I may have left Africa, but Africa is within me. Yes, and she's very right. Because you're African no matter where you go. No matter where you go, who you with, who you intermingle with, it's a part of you and it's in you. But unlike these Negroes that are very, they're full of self-hate, they have to deny that part of them. Anything that's not African.
All that old stuff. All right. They talking all that. She's up here talking about this Mama Africa, Mama Africa, Mama Africa. Oh, Africa is the motherland. Because we were having some issues with some of the conversations people were having about our nationality and our lineage. So this person here is all up in our mentions talking about Mama Africa. Then I pointed out, well, your ass ain't even in Mama Africa. You over here in baby USA. I pointed that out, and she gonna come back. Africa never left me. I'm currently not in the motherland, but Mama Africa's in my bloodstream. Oh, please. Okay, stop all.
You see how this proud house Negro attacks black people. And if you listen to his Twitter and stuff like that, white people go on there, saying maybe an Arab here or two, but he's going to put the spotlight on black people. This is how you know this Negro ain't shit. This is how you know this Negro is a race traitor. This is how you know this Negro is very disingenuous. You know what I'm saying? But he's going to attack her. And yes, Mama Africa is in her, right? Everybody comes to America. Everybody from every corner of the world comes to America, right? But he only has a problem with black people, right? Saying something about this failed bitch-ass American movement. He's not going to put anybody else. He's not going to put anybody else up, right? He's not going to mention anybody else. He's not going to put nobody else on blast. This Negro is a divide black people up so we could be conquered. That's all that's going to happen.
See, people try to shame us with all of this. We're supposed to get some pride and identity from Mama Africa. Your ass ain't even over there. All right? You don't have enough pride in Mama Africa to stay there and...
So if you have enough pride in your country, you're supposed to be anchored down to your country and don't go anywhere else or do business anywhere else. And this is the failed black American attitude. Everyone in the world is international. Everybody goes everywhere to do business, to visit, on, to visit to do business or to go on vacation or to explore, right? That's why most black Americans do not have a passport. The only time a black American has a pass that goes to another country, he's in the army and he's going on a white man's ticket, right? Where most people, right, would have no problem leaving, checking a place out. I ain't feeling it. It's kind of good. Let me chill here for a second, right? And him saying this whole message that, oh, you left, and so it ain't nothing. That's why black people, again, this is a very black American mindset for the most part, is that they don't want to go nowhere because they think America is everything, and once you're here, you know everything and you experience everything. America is a very small place in the world in comparison to the world. The more you travel, the more knowledge you get and you understand your place within the world. But we'll continue his Negro babble.
Build up Mama Africa. Your ass is over here with us. A lot of these folks keep doing that. And then want to call it a diaspora war. Ain't no diaspora war. Y'all over here trying to sell us on something that you ain't even buying.
There is a diaspora war. Tariq Nakoon has started the diaspora war for 3 years, at least 3 years relentlessly. And only for about a month or so, we had the diaspora on FBA ads, and now they're crying and saying, oh, you see? No, you see what? We didn't say anything for 3 years, right? We didn't say anything for 3 years, right? You keep poking the bear, and now you're getting your head bit the fuck off, and now you want to keep crying foul because there's no space where you could go where your punk ass is not getting checked. That's what's going on. So yes, there is a diaspora war, and until you wave a white flag, it's gonna keep on going. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna keep on happening. It's gonna keep on going because we gotta stomp your punk ass, grifting ass out.
Y'all over here trying to sell us on something that you ain't even buying. You're trying to sell us on something that you yourself, you're not even buying. Right? Here's another one. All these people from the motherland keep coming in our mix. Here's another person. Without Africa, the world wouldn't be where they are today. So there's nothing wrong with what she said. Educate yourself, Tariq, because you're behind. And I pointed out, your ass is over here in California by me. All right? All of these people talk all that Mama Africa and we better do this and Africa is this and that, and you ain't there. Y'all don't sell your BS good enough. You're not even over there trying to sell the soap to us, and you're not over there. You're doing everything you can to get the hell up out of Mama Africa.
Another lie that is basically, like I said before, is a very arrogant American attitude, mostly from Americans as a whole who have not traveled or don't know any people of the world. Some people, they never even left their block, let alone their county or state, so they don't understand how the world works and how people within it think, right? So, it's this false narrative where if you leave or go visit or go live somewhere for like a little bit, it means you're running or fleeing. Again, another arrogant thing. People can't go there to do business. People can't go there to get the bag. These are coming from black Americans who ran out of the South everywhere else. They ran all the way to the North. They ran to the Midwest. They ran to the West. Some of them even ran to Canada. Some of them ran to the Caribbean, right? So he's giving you false information, a false narrative to demonize other people. That's all the FBA is. They're nothing but a hate group, right? And only people that, like I said, I keep saying this and I'll keep saying it and driving it home, are people that I find that are young for the most part, people that are not traveled, and most of all, people that are not educated. These are the only people that will gravitate towards such nonsense. But I'll let it continue.
Because foundational black Americans are acknowledging and appreciating our lineage and our history, which is a very unique history. It's a very unique lineage that other people don't have.
He's partially true. The only thing that's unique about Black Americans is their geographical location and the treatment that they have endured, all due to white people. So this is what I tell Black people all the time. So you're special due to white people and how bad white people treat you. What makes you special. How you being next to vicious white people and how bad white people treat you. That's the only difference between you and a Caribbean. Because people from the Caribbean were under the same yoke of Black Americans. So it was the British. There's British colonies there, right? The Dutch. There was also Dutch colonies in America and also in the Caribbean, right? French influence. There's also French colonies there. Spanish influence. You have the Spanish-American War. There's Spanish influence also in the Caribbean. So it's not to say that Black Americans are synonymous only to a particular type of struggles. People in the Caribbean went through the same struggles. So it's more of a geographical location was what make you different. And being up under white people. That's the difference, because the majority is more in America. The majority of white people in the Caribbean is slim to none, right? So once again, you have to be very uneducated and don't know nothing much about anything to co-sign what he just said cold-heartedly. But I'll let him continue the miseducation.
They've been waiting and depending on us to carry everybody else under the banner of Africa.
No. Whoa. Again, oh God. This is going to be like a 9-hour video because he keeps lying. Every other word out of his mouth is a lie. Who is depending on Black Americans to carry anybody? Black Americans can't even carry themselves. Like, what are you talking about? He's making it seem like Black America has it popping financially, economically, and politically. The only thing we got a lock on, and we don't even own that, will be what? The music industry? And we don't even own that? So and I said this in one of my videos, this is an imaginary plate of nothing. They say everyone's eating off their plate. They have nothing on their plate. They think there's this big, huge steak dinner on their plate that they made for themselves and cultivated themselves that they have, and someone's trying to, get a cut off of that juicy steak. You have nothing on your plate. You cannot carry yourselves. There's not one instance where you have carried yourself 100%. You have not. You can't be oppressed, right? And then at the same time, be successful at the same time as a group as a whole. It's either one or the other. Again, he's lying.
Every achievement we have to attribute it to some African culture. And they've been depending on that. Now that we're saying, hey, the stuff that we...
What? See, people, he has to talk in general terms. Even though he's talking in general terms, it's a lie. What African American achievement that was made that Africa is saying, hey, you gotta give it up to us. You gotta go to us. No one does that. Who's doing that? If any one African person is doing that, they're an idiot too as well. But we all know there's no one saying, oh, okay, Benjamin Banneker created the light bulb. Oh, you gotta attribute that to Africans. Like, no, those are African Americans. Like, unless they're saying indirectly, hey, look, indirectly, you are a product of Africa, right? And you being a slave in America, your achievements are our achievements. Excuse me. If they're saying that, then I understand. That doesn't take away the fact that these are black people in America doing good things in America. So he's lying again. This is a lie. Like, god damn.
We do. This is something that's indicative of foundational Black American culture. Hey, don't say that now. Y'all still African now. Y'all got to give it up to Africa. Y'all got to. No, we're foundational Black American. We're genetically African, but most people on the planet are genetically African. We are foundational Black Americans.
Wrong. You see how the grifter is? You see how the hustler has to act? He's going to say, oh, we're genetically African. We're genetically African, but we're a foundational Black American. That makes no sense. That absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. So if you're genetically African, you're African. But then he's going to even take it further and say some stupid shit. He says this before. Well, everyone's genetically a part of Africa. No, that's not how it works. How it works real quick is that life started in East Africa. You had, and Africa is the most diverse place on the planet when it comes to human beings and living organisms, whether it be plants or animals, right? Excuse me, right? Plants or animals. When it comes to humans, only like 2 to 3 different branches of humans left Africa, right? Out of all Africa's human genetic diversity. That's why if you test anyone that's from African descent, they have more genes. And you test anyone else that is a non-African, they have less genes, because not that genetic diversity have left Africa, right? No white person ever left out of Africa, walked out of Africa. No Chinese, no Indian, nobody walked out of Africa. These people did not walk out of Africa. It's black people who walked out of Africa and changed through time, through environmental changes and and different genetic differences that they have due to climate and their environment. And that's why they change. And that's why you have these different variations. But genetically, yes, they're still African, but white people didn't walk out of Africa. You know what I'm saying? They didn't walk out of Africa, and Chinese didn't walk out of Africa. So again, he's lying, but people don't understand science or anything like that. Is going to believe what he says, which is most of the people in his audience and his group are once again uneducated. That's why he can spit so much nonsense, and they just believe it, hook, line, and sinker. But let the fool fool.
You dig? We are foundational Black Americans. And y'all not going to push the Mama Africa thing on me. And this is no disrespect to Africa whatsoever, but we are foundational Black Americans. We created a whole new culture.
It is disrespect to Africa, because there's a lot of sayings. You know, saying you can't curse the root, but then appreciate the fruit. Because without the root, you cannot bear no fruit. So you cannot disrespect or diminish your roots and then just appreciate the fruit. That you appreciate the fruit. That's not how that works. Right? Then he's gonna say that we created our own culture. That's partially true. A lot of just how Black Americans talk is a testament to West African language. Ask any linguist, ask anyone who masters in linguists and how African Americans talk. African Americans talk a particular certain way due to the languages they used to speak, right? Even though we have Americans back then, they didn't speak the King's English, they spoke bad language, but linguistically, our language is the same. Our dance is the same. You have Black Americans that don't know anything about Africa, not African culture or anything like that. Their dance is African. That's why when the Somalian sister said that, hey, I may left Africa, but Africa is in because because it's in you genetically. Even though we got Negroes like him and other Black Americans that are very self-hating, It's in our DNA. We cannot run from ourselves. We cannot run from ourselves. There was a video a long time ago. Dr. Clark was on it. Dr. Ben was on it. A lot of our Grandmaster teachers were on this, and they were talking about how it's still genetically, we're still African genetically, we still know, and those things come to fruition physically in our speech, in our dance, in our music, how we converse with each other. Certain old wives' tale. That's just an old wives' tale. It's not really an old wives' tale, even though you're up under white people. It's not a real old wives' tale for white people. It's something that they would say in Africa. Our cuisine, certain things that we will have that we want are West African. Study this. Don't listen to this goddamn fool. He's a fucking idiot.
A whole new lineage. We have a whole new heritage. Okay? And we're not going to be shamed into not acknowledging that. Because everybody wants to eat off our accomplishments. That's why they want to take credit for hip hop and all this stuff. No, none of y'all created hip hop except foundational Black Americans.
Where he made another lie. Now, I don't get into this hip hop thing too much or whatever. Me, I like to call it even. Because me, growing up in New York, being a youngster when hip hop was probably popping off for like a good 10 years or whatever, right? We already had our internal beefs, like who created hip hop? Was it the Bronx or was it Queens? So that's already a thing that's going on. But we all know here in New York, no one could point the finger at one person or one group that created hip hop, because those groups that created hip hop, right, were Black Americans, were Puerto Ricans, were Blacks from the Caribbean. It wasn't like, okay, and you have to understand the dynamic of New York, right? Before, saying how it's always been before these failed bitch-ass Americans popped up. The dynamic was that you had Black people, you had Caribbean people, and you had Puerto Rican people. We all live together in one neighborhood, sometimes in one roof. It's the same. We're the same people. We date the same people. We date each other. We marry each other. We have kids with each other. That's how it's always been. It's not like, oh, Puerto Ricans just live here. The Caribbeans just live here. The American Blacks just live here. It was never like that. Even up to this day, it's not like that. Not saying there's not certain sections that's, okay, that's a little bit more predominantly Puerto Rican or Hispanic. That's a little bit more predominantly African or Caribbean or whatever in certain sections, but it wasn't like a divide like, oh, I live next to China, like how Asians are. Like this, it's like a Chinatown. It wasn't set up like a Chinatown. Like, you just got Chinatown, that's it. Then all the Arabs just stay there, and the Arabs just mess with the Arab. No, it wasn't like that. We were all one people. So this whole hip hop things, that's the only thing he's very adamant about taking credit, and we don't even own that anymore. And I really hate that, because we the ones that started business, as far as like Russell Simmons and all these people that had the first record label for hip hop, so we can have a platform and all these things, since James Brown and all these other people and since Motown, right? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I'm just trying to say he's lying when he says that only Black Americans created hip hop. It's not even in his neck of the woods. This is in my neck of the woods. I would know more than his stupid ass.
None of you. None of you.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. Stupid ass.
Let's be very clear. And with foundational Black Americans, we're talking about getting stuff for ourselves, for our group, and we're telling other people, hey, don't latch on to us as we're trying to get our reparations popping from the...
What benefit? Remember Paul Mooney says, everybody wants to be a nigga, but nobody wants to be a nigga? Why would anybody latch on to people that don't have any power? Not even enough power to hold themselves down. They're powerless. Anybody that's rocking with Black people as a whole know that they're in a losing battle. They're on a losing fight. So if he means by people rocking with them right? As far as like Caribbeans and Africans, we're black by default. White supremacy sees us as the same by default. So what he's saying makes no sense if he's talking towards those groups.
Colonizer and slavers, y'all need to be doing the same thing to the people, the Spanish and the British and the French, the people who colonize you, the people who enslave you. That's who y'all need to get some act right and do what we're doing. You need to holler at the people that colonize you.
The Caribbean has been doing that for you since like the 50s or the 60s. That has been being done, as you can see here. So yeah, he's talking out his ass, obviously, because he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a grifter. He's just saying these things to black Americans so they could feel superior in some shape or form against other black people. Because remember, psychologically, when you've been beaten down for hundreds of years, saying that you're not smart, you're not intelligent, you're not nothing, you're at the bottom of the totem pole and you're bottom of the barrel for all these years, the moment you can find to get somebody or someone to feel better than, guess what? Your mind's been saturated with white supremacy. So you think the only way to gain power is also to do what's been done to you, and it is to dehumanize, to degrade other human beings in order to get the things that you want, which is reparations. That's why I say this is a black hate group, and all they're doing is cooning for other white people. That's what it is. Like, look, we could be just as rich as you, Master C. You told us we're very good right here. You told us very good. We were locking them niggas over there. We're locked down. You know, like Uncle Rucker said, don't trust them new niggas over there. It's the same thing. That's all that he's doing.
Don't sit here and try to get up under us and try to undermine our energy. And seems like some of them are getting the message. This story just came out right here. During the royal visit over there in Jamaica, the Jamaicans shunned the UK royal visit and they demanded slavery reparations. This came out this week. So now we're showing them how to get down. See, this is why they
lies. Lies. This article may have came out a day ago, where he's not showing who the article is, but Jamaica has been doing that forever. Jamaica has been doing this forever, so he is lying. I think just the other day, I think it was Jamaica, they tried to do some LBGTQ thing, like a couple months ago. I think it was believed at the embassy, and I was like, whoa, nah, man, you may not do them things here, sir. Nah, man, take that fuckery thing down. They would have been doing that. But black Americans, they'll wave their nice little gay flag, and that's just wonderful. And, you know, we got Little Nas X here, and, you know, we have all these other people. We got Jimmy Porter, you know, he's playing Cinderella. That is just wonderful, you know. So, yeah, we've been way ahead of the curve than you when it comes to reparations, and especially on the other LGBTQ things and stuff like that. So no, you're late to the party as usual, Tariq.
Keep trying to dissipate our energy. The white supremacists, they want our energy dissipated because they understand we gonna light the fire up under everybody. They understand when we start stepping up and making demands, everybody else is going to follow suit. Now,
I agree with him with that, and this is why he's a grifter and a liar. See, the old Tariq is coming, because remember, the old Tariq that I used to rock with was one global black family. A win for us here is a win for us everywhere. And the old Tariq is coming back, but you know he got to protect his money, right? Excuse me. I always said that, hey, if any country, whether it be in America, whatever island or in Africa, get reparations, is going to get the ball rolling. And other people are going to be like, hey, ooh, you got reparations from the Spanish? Then the French colony is going to be like, hey, what about us? Then English colony is going to be like, hey, what about us? And it's going to get the ball rolling. That's just how it works. That's why white people are unified and not trying to hear any black people as far as like getting reparations, because the European community like, what the fuck are you doing? You giving these niggas reparations, then they're gonna come ask us for reparations, right? So he's right in that regard, but he is 100% wrong in saying that they're the ones that started it, which is absolutely incorrect.
Everybody else is getting like us now. You see? This is why they keep putting these Negroes out here to sow dissension among us. All right? This is why they keep doing that. And this is why they get the black intellectual class, so-called intellectual, the boule intellectual class, the Democratic shills, and we've seen the Democratic shills.
He's talking about foundational black American so-called intellectuals. So black people holding themselves down so much. That black Americans are such warriors, and no one could deter them, and all this other stuff that, by his definition, the Democrats just let black people in and go with this narrative that the grassroots that don't agree with how they move in political spaces. It's like, I don't like what they're saying. That's not necessarily true, whatever. But you're a foundational black American, and he's a foundational black American. So what the fuck is your problem? Your problem is that it was immigrants, right? Oh, it was these black immigrants. It's them. It's these tethers, which is stupid. Tether just means something that's tied and that's tied up. So if an immigrant is tied to America, that sounds like he's more American than your stupid ass. But anyway, you have these Democrats, right, or these Democratic shills, as he called it. They're black American. I thought you had an immigrant problem. So if that's the case, it doesn't seem that the problem that you have is basically just an immigrant problem. You have problems within your own society as well. So I see this as just a form of deflection and them not attacking their own people. When they do that, he does it with kids' gloves, so-called FBAs, right? He do it with kid gloves. Oh, they're this, they're that. He doesn't attack their culture or anything like that, because he has denoted that FBA is its own so-called race. And then you have, as far as black people, they're their own race. Then you just got everybody else. Peep the lies and the deception.
Just promoting this Ketanji Brown. They've been promoting her getting sworn into the Supreme Court.
So here we are, my video. It's really about FBA Mama America. So here we are, Mama America. Mama America is basically the white man's white woman, right? That's basically who we're talking about. But in this regard, we're talking about blackface in a high place. And he's going to basically pretend not to care, not really know the policies and the intricacies and the details of the matter. And when he does do that, he does it from a Republican standpoint, which is also extremely anti-black. Democrats are anti-black, but I've mentioned this before. The Democrats, at least they'll pretend to care about black people and fight for certain causes and stuff like that. And some, you may feel like, okay, he was lying the whole time when it comes to show and prove, versus the Republicans who have a line in the sand and said, I don't like black people, I don't like niggas and stuff like that. But then again, your weak punk ass is going to run over to the Republican side who say they don't like black people and doing nothing for black people unless you're going to belittle other black people in a racist manner, like Candace Owens and your Larry Elders and all these other people that would do things like that. That's the only way you could be an official Negroid Republican. So just beware of that.
They've been really trying to big that up. That's a big nothing burger. We ain't tripping on that. The black Democratic shills are running around talking about, oh, this is so historic, oh, black excellent, black. The black grassroots, we're not tripping on no damn black Supreme Court justice. That means nothing because it doesn't benefit us as a group.
So it doesn't benefit Black Americans as a group. He's even shitting on Mama America. Now, the Supreme Court justice is one of the highest positions you could get in the land. It's a little more relevant, in my opinion, than the president, because the president can only do 2 terms, which is 8 years. Supreme Court justice, that's a job for life. And you determine what policy is. So several Supreme Court justices, so she will be the second Black Supreme Court justice next to Clarence Thomas that is also a coon. Clarence Thomas is, I'm not going to go on a tangent on him, but you know about Clarence Thomas. If you don't, need to find out. He got a white wife. This woman here has a white husband. So this is Black Americans. These are just Black Americans, right? This is just how they are. Either white people are picking them, or I don't know, but these are Black Americans representing Americans. And Tariq is the same way. He has a mulatto wife and a white mother-in-law that lives with him, right? He has a whole white side of the family. This is something that he picked. As you can see when he's talking about dating and all this other stuff, don't date a Black woman and all these other things. This is who he is. This is who he is. This is what he says. So he's throwing her, her away, Katanji or whatever her name is, whatever, away because he's a little bit politically ignorant, or he's being politically stupid and deceptive because he doesn't understand that if you have I understand blackface in a high place doesn't mean anything, but you need to do something in order for Black people to be heard, or even at least they even know what her position is officially. Just like how Tariq's quote unquote position is pro-Black, and and because his wife is mulatto and he got white people in his family, but you supposed he's pro-Black. Find out what her position is. This is Mama America here. Mama America owes you everything. She got in good with the white man. Right, you got in your mulatto wife got in good with her. Your mother-in-law got in good with her Black buck that produced your mulatto wife, and you good in with her white people and her white family. So why don't you at least find out what she's good about? This is the Black American dream. You Black, but you're not too Black. You got white people there to validate you.
We are past just looking at the symbolic nonsense that doesn't benefit us as a group. It's just a Negro getting a damn job.
Exactly. Just like a Negro just getting some white punani to get your wife, right? That you love so much, right? That's something that Black Americans do all the time, right? And you don't get their Black card, don't get revoked. So why would you do that to a politician? And their card won't, and you try to revoke their card where they can actually do something for you. Why don't you hold their feet to the fire and say, hey, look, you as a woman of color or a Black woman and stuff like that and all these other things, yeah, you made history and stuff like that. Don't go out like a Kamala Harris who is sometimes Black and sometimes Asian. You're supposed to be a 100% Black woman. What, you're not doing it because you're a white man? Like, take that heat to your own people. Take that heat to FBA Mama America. Because this is what y'all all about. Being up under white people, fighting civil rights to eat and shit next to white people. This is what you fought for. So this is what you have. So try to make use of what you have.
Yeah, we've already had a Black Supreme Court justice. How has that worked for the last 30-something years? With Clarence Thomas. And we already know this woman is zaddied up, so she ain't gonna do nothing. In fact...
So what's the problem? Is she zaddied up? Isn't your wife a product of zaddiness? Isn't your wife a product of bed bucking and bed winching? That should be a good thing, because you're going to tell your mulatto-looking sons probably maybe not to mess with them because they're less black. So I don't understand where this is fake hate. This is fake hatred. Like what is he talking about?
She went against a lawsuit that black people had against a corporation. So we know her get down. So we're not tripping on that. And we're not going for symbolic victories. We're trying to go for the tangibles. And because we're getting on code, talking about getting some tangibles, again, they're going to throw the black intellectual class at us and try to talk down on us. So now there's another reparations conference that's going to happen on an online conversation. And they're going to have people like Greg Carr in there. And people been kind of questioning Greg Carr. Now, Greg Carr is a professor over there at Howard University. Very smart brother, but Greg Carr is a Democratic shill. All right? He's always on Roland's show. He's one of those folks who's all...
Okay, all this fool's doing is complaining. All he's doing is complaining. FBA is so powerful. They're so influential. They influence other black people and all this other stuff. And your house sounds like a total shit show. Every time someone comes to power, you have an excuse. You say the brother's smart, but he's a Democratic shill. Oh, this person's this, but they're that. You know what I'm saying? You're the last to talk about other black people. You're the absolute worst. You should not be talking about black people in any negative capacity as far as, well, we're better than them at all, because you got a shit show of a house going on right now. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even know what this, Miss Mama America, Miss FBA, don't even know what she's for or what she stands for. Really, you don't. You haven't really. What black agenda have you confronted her on? Nothing really. So again, you're just talking out your ass.
Clicked up with Roland and that crowd. And their job is they'll talk black and talk black history, but ultimately their job is to toe the line for the damn Democrats. All right? Their job is to toe the line for the Democrats for their own personal gain, and that is a problem. Now, Greg Carr, we've been looking at some of his tweets, and he's been talking down on foundational black Americans looking at ourselves as a group. His thing is, well, the United States of Africa concept is not new, nor has it been abandoned in recent years. I and countless others are firm supporters of the concept of the United States of Africa. That Pan-Africanism, official lines that created a nation state.
Wait. So, again with the hypocrisy, right? This is a very intelligent man, according to him, not me, according to what Tariq said, right? We know here in America, according to Tariq again, that our politics is a shit show, right? We know that. We also know that black people are no longer the number one minority. We are like the third maybe, right? Because who was in our place? It would be Hispanics and then Asians, right? I think Asians are about to beat us, but let's say, we're the second largest minority. That's still not good because we all know Hispanic people consider themselves white. They mark themselves down as white. That's what we do. So Professor Greg Carr is saying, hey, look, politically our answer is, in a matter of speaking, is Pan-Africanism, right? To go across the board. No, everybody in this country of America has links to somewhere else, right? The German that comes here has German that got his back. The English who comes to this country, they have England as their back. The Spanish that comes here, they got their back. Ukrainians, right? They have Ukraine and America has their back. Chinese that come here, China has their back. Who does FBA has as their back again? These democratic failures, right? This is coming from the same person, like to point out how all these other countries are failures, and people have to come here to be a success, while you're getting no success out of it, and you have no backing. So the man makes sense. He's saying, hey, look, our brothers and sisters across the pond could help us politically, because what? It's about numbers. It's basically about numbers, right? But if you're gonna shoot, what FBA want to do is shoot themselves in the head and say that we ain't black, we Hebrew, we ain't black, we Native Americans, we Cherokee, we this, that. A whole bunch of nonsense. So here we're gonna go, and he's gonna talk about how the guy that's very intelligent is talking nonsense.
Is a central problem leads to nativism that we have here. He's talking about us, looking at our native foundational Black American culture. So he's trying to, this is a bunch of word salad meant to throw salt at foundational Black Americans for looking at.
No, it's not word salad. It's word salad because your ass is too stupid to comprehend it, or you do comprehend it, because once you comprehend it, it undermines what you're trying to do, which is separate black people from other black people when everyone as a whole is global. So no matter where you are, you go in the world. So we go to an island in the middle of nowhere, right? And you bump into different people from all over the world. What are you going to say? I'm a FBA. People are like, number one, people are like, what the fuck is that? And when you define it, anyone that understands the history of the West can be like, yes, you're still African. You're African. I ain't no goddamn African. I was never born no Africa. I ain't no African. What you talk about, white man? You're African. The definition you gave me does not delete your lineage and your root from Africa. So you see what I'm trying to say? Everyone has a place to represent them except Black Americans. He's doing a horrible thing to you guys, man. I don't understand how y'all don't see that. I know y'all are a little bit slow, but how do you not see what he's doing? Like, everyone has a place in a country to claim. America is your place of birth by default. And you all know that America is not backing you at all. Whether you be Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, they don't give a fuck about you. So why don't you be honest with yourself? Look at yourself in the mirror. Look at your big, black, beautiful African self in the mirror and connect with your people to Africa. Do not listen to him and saying that, oh, Africa is not offering land. Africa is not being hospitable or wanting people to come. That's not true. That's just simply not true. You got Ghana, you got Sierra Leone, you have Nigeria. You can go just like, so you're going to tell me that the Chinese can walk in and Europeans can walk in, but black people can't walk in. You can blend in with the people. You can just go right in and no one won't know a goddamn thing. Come on now. Like, make it make sense, man.
Our foundational Black American heritage. Here's him again. Lineage arguments are nothing new. There's a thread of descendants of enslaved sentiments that is decidedly anti-immigrant. That isn't only in the U.S. And wherever it is, it undermines the type of political solidarity that has been the main factor in advocating or advancing African interests. Okay, let's stop that. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I want to hear his breakdown, because what the man is saying is absolutely clear and absolutely right. Politically, we need to be one people. Politically, we need to vote on one block. Politically, we need to get ourselves on one accord and then back that up with finance. To back that up with money. You want to back it up with just the white man's money, that's fine. But imagine if you back that up with, because remember, Black Americans have no GDP. Black people have no economy unto themselves. They have nothing. What they get is from white people, and they spend it right back with white people. You gotta understand, this is a different generation of black people have. These are not black people from the civil rights era where they say, hey, look, these people are treating black people bad, so we're going to boycott them. Niggas can't do that. They don't do that. There's nothing in them to say, hey, these people are treating us bad. This corporation is racist. Let me boycott them. You got H&M. I spoke to this before. You got H&M with the whole putting the little black boy have a monkey on his shirt. You got Gucci. You got Papa John. You got all these places that tell you how they feel about black people, and niggas still shop with them. So we're talking about two different kinds of people. So FBA has a very self-destructive behavior politically and economically, right? So knowing just a little bit of black Americans coming together, hey, look, there's a portion of us that has very destructive black behavior. We're a minority now, right? We need to be on one voting block to get things done for us. The little money that we have, let's get that together, right? And then, our brothers in West Africa and East Africa and our brothers down in the Caribbean, things like that, because they also live here and they were also a part of the building of America. Our brothers and sisters in America need help and things like that. Let's put all our money and all our political backing and know-how behind it. Like, America will have no choice but to listen to us. But you can listen to this fool that says, trying to tell you, fuck Africa and fuck them Caribbeans and fuck all these tethers and all this other stuff. We got it. And this thing that he explained, the Democrats is this, and these people, they ain't for us and all that, and y'all don't even have your own house in order. How is he what plan does he have besides complaining? What plan does he have besides complaining? All your solutions that you have, he's cutting ties to. You're going to be on a burning ship, which is America, that has no interest or desire to do anything for you politically or economically. So he wants y'all to go down with the ship, and the ship's captain is saying, y'all niggas need to shut the fuck up and keep rowing, or keep that engine going and keep serving keep serving white people wine and appetizers. This is what this nigga's doing, and y'all don't see that. I don't understand how y'all cannot see that, but I'm gonna let him continue.
Okay. So this is word salad that's being given to him from the white Democrats. Their whole thing is to accuse us of being anti-immigrant. Whenever we talk about looking out for ourselves,
you are anti-immigrant, fool, and we all know that. There's no, again, and I'll say it again, if FBA was just synonymous with, hey, look, we need to get our reparations, we need to get our things. The United States have been neglecting us since Emancipation Proclamation. They have not given us our 40 acres and a mule. They have not given us any kind of incentive or anything. Then yes, if you just keep FBA when it comes to that, you would be right. But he does not do that. He then talks about FBA to the point of hating Somalis, hating Jamaicans, and so on and so on and so forth. You've been doing this for 3 years straight. And this is where the game is over before you even start. So he's not even putting anything out there to be taken seriously politically. He's just a talking head, and y'all fools just giving money. Right? Even if he was to put something out there politically, again, which he's not, anyone looks at him and what he's saying, be like, all right, these are some black Nazis. Like, what the hell? Yeah, they're saying FBA needs this, FBA needs that, but FBA also say, fuck them tethers. And all this other stuff. You have become a hate group. The United States, unless it's their own, has not financed or funded any hate group. Especially a black one or a brown one. You know, they'll, at their own terrorists, because look, the KKK is still a thing. And that's a terrorist group. And they're supposed to be against terrorism, right? But they kind of just wave their finger at them like, no, no, no. Or wait for them to do something to blow shit up and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have, when Biden was president, you had this dude drive like, oh, they stole the election. It's my president. Joe Biden ain't my president. I'm about to blow this son of a bitch Biden up. And you got all these right-wing fools and nuts going after to bomb them. They could be affiliated with QAnon. They could be affiliated with the alt-right or whatever, but they let them rock until they do something. Right? You think they're gonna give you money? Even though you have the right to get money? Do you think they're gonna get you money after talking all that shit? That's crazy. That's not gonna happen. So we're gonna have him keep talking that divisive talk, because his black ass, if shit was to go down, he's gonna go again to the same countries that he tells them to hold their own nuts. He's gonna go to Mexico. He's gonna go to Jamaica. He's gonna be gone. He's gonna go to Dubai. He's gonna hightail all the money that y'all fools give him, that he uses his vacation money with, and to do his freaking punk ass albums and everything. He's gonna be gone, and y'all gonna be there by yourselves on some what happened.
Frame it as being anti-immigrant. That's why they always send these tethers in our spaces. The minute we're talking about getting some tangibles, what do we see? Some tethers coming in the room. Hey, why do you niggas hate us so much? Why do you niggas hate us? Do you think we're taking your jobs? Nigga, where did you come from? Nobody's talking about you. So,
where's the museum, nigga? Where is the museum, nigga? That's why you don't like me, nigga. Because I give you money for museum. You say, oh, black people, we need a museum so we can show achievements. And I'm like, okay, I give you money. I do my Uber. You know, it take me like 9 trips. 9 trips. I give you $100. 9 trips. Let me get this nigga money. Because he want to open a museum. So I get the nigga money. And then he talk about, oh, I can't open museum because the white man prevent me from opening the museum. But he hire a white real estate agent. I'm like, you open a white real estate agent, but you say you need $1 million. Nigga, give me my money. I want my money back. Give me back my money, nigga. Where's the museum, nigga? Either you give me my money or you give museum. When are you going to build the museum, nigga? Yes, please. Wait, tell me you're going to build the museum. And you get, immigrant, get in your business because we don't like, no, I don't care about no reparation, nigga. I want museum or I want my money, nigga.
This is where that's coming from. That's coming from the top. That's a narrative that's being passed down. Whenever we start talking about looking out for our own interests, they got word salad folks coming around talking about it's anti-immigrant. All right? Doesn't matter. Even if we are anti-immigrant, that doesn't stop us from being foundational Black Americans. All right?
So even if he hates another black people, he's entertaining the fact, hey, even if we're hateful, yeah, we can still be fucking bitch ass Americans or failed broken Americans. Yeah. You can do that. You can, even though the shit makes no sense. But I'm gonna let him continue keep putting his foot in his mouth.
Which we're not anti-immigrant because we don't give a damn. We're looking out for our own group. And even if we are anti-immigrant, so the hell what? We don't owe nobody nothing.
There you go. We have come full circle. Even if we anti-immigrant, so what? We don't owe anybody anything. So you're being anti-immigrant because you think we owe you something? Like, I don't understand what's this whole owe somebody something. I don't get it. But we came around full circle. So what, nigga? I don't care if I'm anti-immigrant. It's like, and this is who you guys was rocking with. He doesn't even know if he's coming or going. In this instance right here, he changed his mind like 2-3 times. 2-3 times. He changed his mind like 2-3 times. That's why he look retarded like he does right here. It's like, oh, so what? But the government, your white daddy and Mama America is supposed to look at this, hear this rhetoric, and be on like, you know what? Those black people,
They really need it. They're really pulling on my heartstrings right now. You got these dirty African booty scratchers and these coconut Caribbeans just messing with our good niggers here. Oh, they're going through it so much. Here's money, niggers. Just take it. Take it. Oh my gosh, you've been done so wrong. Oh my God, you've been done so wrong. Take the money.
Why not? I think white people should give it to you because most of y'all niggas is gonna give it right back to white people anyway because you have no business or infrastructure at all. Even Dave Chappelle had that skit about that, right? Now, if I was to say that, where you from? You immigrant? But no one was asking Dave Chappelle, is he immigrant? Is he that? That's before this FBA ADOS bullshit kicked off, and everyone laughed their ass off because why? Because Dave Chappelle is right. Dave Chappelle, if we were to get reparations, I don't think we're going to get it. If we were to get reparations, we got to come together and do something with this money. Because we know niggas, and what do y'all do? Tariq Nasheed is that same nigga that y'all gave money to. That what he did with the money instead of opening a museum. Nigga did an album. He did a book. He's doing pseudo history about black people being the original Seminoles and being the original Native Americans. No museum. It's been a year. A year. I've done videos where in my country and in other so-called failed countries, we have museums unto ourselves. We have museums besides the one in DC, but according to what Tariq says, that's not good enough, right? I've been to the museum in DC. So if he's going to do something better than DC, I would love to see it, but that's not going to happen. You know why? Because he's a liar. It's been a year. He doesn't even have any exhibits. What exhibits does Tariq have to put in the museum? Huh? What exhibits do you have? That's like opening up a hardware store and you got no inventory. How you got no inventory or you got no distributors lined up to fill your store for your hardware store? And you talking about I don't got it. I'm supposed to have it. No, you never have it. You got nothing lined up. The closest thing he said to that, he's like, "Oh, I need some people here. You dig? You dig? To see to get like a bus. Like who knows how to do buses, statues? You see? You dig? And also need some artists who could do some paintings of, excuse me, look at my lips, I'm kind of ashy. Francis Cress Welsing, I need some people, my people that they're artistic like that, you see, hook me, hit me in the chat. He's doing an art gallery. That's not a history museum. He's trying to do an art gallery because he has no artifacts. Anyway.
And what they like to do, they also like to say, well, y'all sound like the white supremacists. Those are white supremacist talking points. Y'all talking about anti-immigrant. That sound like the white supremacist. That's a Democratic shill talking point. That's another version of, well, y'all sound like Trump supporters. That sound like some Trump now would say. It's a con game, guys.
But it is, right? So, and this is the whole thing that eggs me. What he's saying is that's what you are, right? Now everyone knows that. Everybody knows when they say you sound like Trump supporters, right? Now this is where he try to play innocent or don't know what's going on, but he got caught red-handed. Because you are using white supremacist talking points because the Republicans are against immigration. What type of immigration are the Republicans against? The Republicans is against immigration for black people like Haitians, Cubans, if they not white enough, and Mexicans and people from Central America, and so on and so forth. That's what the Republicans are against. What's your punk ass sellout ass is doing is using that same talking point and you're applying it to the diaspora. You're applying it to Black Caribbeans. You are applying it to continental Africans. So that's what you're doing. You know that's what you're doing, and that's what they mean when they're saying you're anti-immigrant. But you just said, who cares? I don't care if I'm anti-immigrant. Whatever. That don't prevent us from being failed bitch ass Americans or failed buck broken Americans. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because you again has tripled, quadrupled down the fact that you want to be a Black hate group and upholding while giving other Black Americans a pass while your own house is in disarray and not in order, has its own coons, has its own problems, making space for anybody to undermine Black people as a whole, but you're just going to attack Black immigrants. Got it.
It's a con game, guys. And people like Greg Carr, they know better. But they know they're towing the line for the Democrats, man. They know what they're doing. We got to watch these folks, that Boule, Ebony, Jet, Essence crowd. All right. All right, and here's Greg Carr. I didn't see this response. I'm looking at some of this stuff in real time. Hold on. I asked, what political solidarity? That's a question that's answered by action. Political solidarity is more than a slogan. Ask most of the people you've interviewed for your documentaries, many who are my colleagues, elders, and comrades. The vast majority of them have given their lives to solidarity work.
And that is right. This is how you know Tariq is a fucking grifter, how he's a con artist and he has no integrity. He keeps talking about all these, we're good on our own, FBA, we're good on our own, we did all this and all that. The guy's basically calling out his hypocrisy. So you got Dr. Kaba, right? He was on Hidden Colors. He was talking about the Negritos, the Moors, and all that, right? He's not what Tariq would consider a foundational Black American, right? You also had, I'm going to say Dr. Umar Johnson because this fool Tariq said Dr. Umar Johnson is really a Black Cuban. Okay, whatever. But so that's why I'm saying Dr. Umar Johnson.
Word salad.
And Jabari. Jabari was also on Hidden Colors, and he is from my country, which is Guyana, right? Like most scholars, you have your Ivan Van Sertima's, you got your Walter Rodneys, you have Black people that has contributed, Guyanese Americans that contributed to scholarship as a whole. You have George G.M. James. He wrote the famous novel from oh my God, why am I having a brain fart right now? Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm having a brain fart. But George G.M. James, he pretty much oh my God, I can't believe I really forgot the name of this book. Oh wow. Anyway, George G.M. James basically is a book about basically saying that Greeks got all of their culture and ideologies from Black Africa, from Egypt, from Kemet, right? So you have those people there that contributed a lot. But it was okay back then because he wasn't on the ADOS FBA bullshit yet. But here we are, he's back on the ADOS FBA bullshit.
Dr. Greg, that's word salad. You didn't answer anything. What do you mean political solidarity? Okay, the political solidarity is one-sided. Yeah, a lot of people in my films, they've done a lot to help out in Africa, myself included. Okay?
He has done nothing of any significance to do anything in Africa. These are the things that he talk about. As egotistical as Tariq is, if he actually did something in Africa, he would be showing you all the time. Just like how he said he did something in Haiti. and people gave him money, have nothing to show for it. Just like how he said, as long as you give him money, and he always has ended up to show nothing for it when it's for other people. When it's to enrich him, as far as his films and things like that, yeah, that's going to enrich him. So yes, you're going to get a return on investment. Anything for other people, you're not seeing that money again.
Myself included. I've done a lot to help people in Africa, myself included. The problem is it's not being reciprocated. So in order for there to be political solidarity, it has to go both ways. It is not being...
And the guy said political. You talking about economics. Again, people, you have like, he says more shit than a little bit. I think he doesn't say add up. The guy said political solidarity. He's talking about his fake contributions economically that he has given towards Africa, which is null and void, right? So when he's talking about has to be reciprocated, he can't take the political role because he's politically ignorant for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he may make a good point, but as a whole, he's a shitty political commentator, right? So he can't debate the brother on the merits of political solidarity, let alone what political solidarity is. So he has to make up an argument and try to make it seem like that's what he was talking about so he could get a win.
Reciprocated. Not only is it not being reciprocated, we are being exploited to a certain degree because now people got a sense of entitlement when they come among us. We've done so much for other groups. Now when they come around, it's like, hey, where's mine?
What have you done? Oh my God. And no one checks them on this. What has Black Americans done for other groups as far as giving them tangibles? When an African comes here from off the plane, when a Caribbean comes in from off the plane, there is no black welcome mat at all. Just like everybody else, you have to find your own way. You have to make your own way. There's no Black Americans coming out of high society, mid society, or out of the goddamn projects or anything comes together. Oh, you're black like me. Hey, you good? You got transportation to where you got to go? Where you staying at? Hey, why don't you come stay with me for a couple of days till you crash, since you got nowhere to go? You hungry? You need something to eat? You good? Here's some macaroni and cheese. You know we invented that, right? Here's some macaroni and cheese and some hog mog and some chitlins and shit. Y'all not doing none of that. So what the fuck are you talking about things you done for other people? You can't even walk down the street without getting harassed by police. You cannot even go to work, or if you get a job, without being discriminated against. And when you do get a job, you're discriminated against, and it's like whatever. Like, you can't even fight for yourself. So who the fuck are you fighting for? It's more bullshit talking points.
Where my stuff at? Okay, well then what about you? I ain't about to give you nothing. Well, damn, what about land? Land, ha ha ha, nigga, please. Nigga, land? Nigga, ha ha ha, I laugh at you, nigga. They laugh at us.
Again, he is lying. There are plenty of African Americans and people from the Caribbean who has went to Africa and bought land and living there right now, especially as far as West Africa, right? And if you go to East Africa, you have a lot of Jamaicans, especially, a lot of Jamaicans, especially Caribbean as a whole. But, we don't neglect our African roots like most Black Americans do, right? There was never a movement of neglecting Africanness in all of Caribbean culture and history. That's not a thing. That's a Black American thing, right? So you got people going to Ethiopia because Ethiopia, that's how Rastafarianism starts out, with Haile Selassie came to Jamaica and all the other stuff. And once again, did that bridge and everything. So anyway, getting off the topic and the subject, right? So he's full of shit. He's full of shit. So I'm going to let him continue.
When we say, can you do something for us? They laugh at us. But anything we do, they're just entitled not only to be a part of it, it's so bad, they're entitled to first dibs. The minute we get something going on, move, nigga, move. I'm in front of the line, nigga, because I'm the real African. It's that.
See how, once again, it's all comedy and it's all generalizations. He's not giving you a situation or an instance where that has happened, let alone happen on a large scale. That doesn't happen. Like, who, number one, who created this line? What is being given? One, two, who is on the line? Right? How is it determined who comes to the line, who gets on the line? Right? And who knows who's African, who's Caribbean, who's a failed bitch ass American that come on the line? When he's talking, I'm assuming he's talking about white society as a whole sees us as all the same. And white society he's saying white society let the Africans get first dibs over Americans. Again, what instance is this? And this is how all these black Americans talk that listen to Tariq Nakoon. They just make these broad general statements, and you ask them, word? That happened? When did that happen? Then they move on to something else, or they say, where you from? Because they're not intelligent enough or smart enough to back up their claims intellectually. So they'll either change the subject or try to undermine their same message, or you're questioning them like you're not authorized enough to ask me or follow a question to my accusation. So if you say, oh, I'm from Gambia, or I'm from Ghana, I'm from Niger, I'm from Sierra Leone, I'm from Cameroon, oh, you can't ask me questions. Even though I made a broad accusation to condemn you and you doing something to hurt me, you can't ask me follow-up questions because you're not a foundational buck-broken American. The shit doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Type of stuff. The disrespect is just so blatant right now. Man, we're like, man, hold on. Now we're saying, hey, we done enough. Now we're going to have to look out for the foundational black Americans over here. No, it's time to look out for us now. And that's exactly what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly what we're doing. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're doing. I'm not into Wakandaism, family. I'm not going to sit up here and...
He's not into Wakandanism, so he's not into black people looking towards Africa as a sanctuary like most people look towards their homeland as a sanctuary. This Negro sanctuary is the white man's house. It's a big house, right? Why? Because they say, oh, our bones is buried here, so like that. True. That is very true, but it's not your house. You're a tool. You were a tool that was used in order to create the 13 colonies. I'm not going to say all of America because that's not true, because black people did not build all of America. They built the colonies. Let's be clear. Let's be exact. They built the colonies. So you, again, like I said, you were a hammer, a wedge, a ramp, a pulley, a hoe, and all these things. That's what you were. Because if you're foundational to the point where you're saying, well, I built it like you're the freaking architect, that means Javier and Consuela are also built this country, because you got a lot of immigrant migrants and they're the ones that's building all these new buildings. They could have a claim to it just like you. So let's be real and let's be honest.
Promote a false solidarity that we're just not having under the guise of the Mama Africa thing. Let's get on that Mama Africa thing here.
Yeah, let's get on this Mama America thing here. This FBA Mama America thing here. So let's do that, because y'all, since slavery, y'all have worked to get to this position. You have worked to come to be a black face in a high place with white approval, with white acceptance, and this was what's going on, right? This is what's going on right now. So let's see. Let's get back to this Mama America.
Because what they try to do, they try to shame us. When we start looking out, and it's only us. They don't do that with Caribbeans. Caribbeans, they have their own culture, just like we do. But when they acknowledge their own culture, that's not a problem. Only us, when we...
No. As a fellow Caribbean, Caribbeans don't take pride in their culture by shitting on other cultures, which is what you do. Caribbeans be on like Jamaicans, like, hey, I love Jamaica. Jamaica's beautiful. Jamaica's that. I love Jamaican culture and Jamaican this and Jamaican music and Jamaican dance and all this other stuff. Guyanese people don't go like, oh, I like Guyanese food, Guyanese culture, our land, our dance, our arts and things like that. Yo, but fuck them niggas from Alabama. Them niggas from Alabama ain't shit. We don't do that. You guys do that. So stop lying to the people.
Podcast about that. But this whole thing where we got to sit up here and we got to honor Mama Africa. Look, we got to understand this. The whole concept of Mama Africa. Look, we got to understand the mistakes that Mama Africa done made. Mama Africa was out here bedwenching with the white supremacists for a long time. And then Mama Africa let the kids go. Mama Africa got the kids taken away. It's just like a crackhead.
And I'm going to stop it right here. Now, this is, again, how he's being disingenuous and how he is nothing but a coon and a sellout. Because Tariq understands African history. So everything that he said is to denigrate and to belittle African people, right? Anyone that understands fundamental African history around in the 15th, 16th century, or even the 14th century, knows that Europeans, people like his wife's mother-in-law, right? His wife's mother-in-law, a section of his family, that are white people, went into Africa, kidnapped those Africans, right? Took those Africans to Brazil, to the New World, and some of those Europeans just didn't steal those Africans. They also just colonized the Africans that remained there, that stayed there. That's how you got your South Africa. That's how you got your different borders. Look up the Berlin Conference. What the Berlin Conference was a bunch of European nations, as well as America, just went there, had a conference that had a big map of Africa. You had Spain, France, Germany, the Dutch, the English, all carved up Africa and said they're going to take, you take this, you take that, you take this, you take that, right? And they all the Europeans went in there under false pretenses, under friendship, because they never invaded Africa. Not one European nation could just go in there and invaded Africa without knowing what's going on. They went there under false pretenses of friendship and trade, and then they undermined them from within and took them over from within. So with that said, Africa did not just neglected her people. She was invaded. She was invaded by Europeans under false pretenses, and those Africans that were taken over as POWs, and that's how you have the diaspora. That's how you get an African American. That's how you get a Jamaican. That's how you get a Haitian. That's how you got a Puerto Rican. That's how you got a Guyanese. That's how you got a Brazilian. That's how you got a Bayesian. So again, he's doing this just to get likes and again showing his hate for Africans. So he says, no shade on Africans. I'm not hating on Africans, but yes, you are, because he's smart enough to know that that is the historical dynamic of black people during the time of Africa. It wasn't that Africa gave up her people willingly. And for those fools that say, oh, well, Africans sold each other, there was no slave market in West Africa until white people came. You not show me one historical account of a slave market done by indigenous cultural Africans. That slave market came about. The only thing close to something like a slave market, and it wasn't close, was probably something from Islam, and they didn't have they did not have a slave market in the sense of how the Europeans had it. And for those European and for those Africans that sold other Africans, Europeans use Africans that had differences. Some were at war with each other, and they took advantage of that. And what they did, they funded guns for one side to capture the other side. So in other words, the Europeans friended both sides. They say, hey, I heard you have a war with those people over there. Hey, they got this weapon called a gun. You want it? Oh, wow. Hey, what do you want? Oh, nothing but some resources and stuff that you have and things like that. So that's what those Africans did. And the Europeans like, hey, what are you doing with those POWs? Nothing really. We take them and we have them here. They're just POWs. They're prisoners. They're just here. We may have them, in encampment somewhere over there until when this war is over. So the Europeans said, no, give it to me. Okay, they're just here taking space. Fine, take them. Right? We did not willingly know what they were doing. And the Europeans went to the other side of those warring Africans, and they did the same thing. Right? By time anyone that knows African history knows that this was being done. Sometimes the ones that were willingly doing it, after he said, oh, that's all the black people you have? Yeah, that's it. There's no more. I think I pretty much got all the people that we're warring with or I don't like. Okay, you get on the boat too. And they end up kidnapping the same person that was helping them take the slaves. So it's not like there is like a huge influx of that happening. One. Two, some of them went on those same ships. And for the ones that are still around, they didn't make any, like I said, they did not know what was happening until it was too late. Right? So black Americans in the United States were just as helpless and under war, just like the Africans. So here he's going to use his American analogy of neglect. This has nothing to do with African people or African culture. Africans did not go under any type of duress like this. This is all black Americans and the culture that they have cultivated under duress, under white supremacy, under things that they made conscious decisions to do. And some of it was basically, was basically, just a part of black American culture because that's a culture they have cultivated. Right? Because remember, he said what is black American culture? Black American culture is just the absence of African American culture, is just the absence of African culture replaced with white culture. And then you get this product. So I'm going to let him continue with his demeaning analogy of Africans.
The relationship we have with Africa now is like a crackhead mother that neglected the kids because they wanted to run the streets in bedwench. And now that those kids that were neglected are doing well, now the crackhead mama wants to come back and say, hold my baby now, y'all don't forget I'm still your mama. It's that type of perverse relationship that y'all want to have with us now.
So again, he has to be totally 100% dishonest about actual history. And as the bitch that he is, anyone that will challenge him on that inaccurate historical account, he's gonna run too, because he's no type of man. He's a fucking coward, right? And if he does even accept a challenge like that, all he's going to do is try and clown the person, right? So this is not a person to be taken seriously, right? So we're talking about war being set upon African people. It wasn't like, and number one, we're only talking about West Africa, right? We only talking about West Africa, and we're talking about West Africa being invaded, right? And West Africa was invaded by Europeans, and these Africans did not know what was going on. So you have Africans like Queen Nzinga. Queen Nzinga, she fought the Europeans tooth and nail, right? Did treaties against them, took land. It was a lot of back and forth. She also tried to convince other African people that the Europeans are your enemy, right? So they had a lot of black Africans that were fighting the Europeans, right? You also had Shaka Zulu. The same thing he was doing. He was realizing that the Europeans were their enemy. Because again, Europeans came in Africa under false pretenses. They never came waging direct war because they would have been outnumbered. Even though that they had a better military capability, but Africa had more numbers and they had armies. So just like Shaka Zulu was taking over his neighboring countries to have one big conglomerate, one big huge army to defeat the Europeans. It was to the point where the Europeans they had to meet Shaka Zulu in a diplomatic way because of the armies that he had and that he was absolving. Right, he was absorbing all these African nations. Anyone just look at Shaka Zulu. He was taking all these nations that didn't want to fight Europeans, didn't know anything about the Europeans, saying, "Hey, look, we have a bigger threat, and if you didn't bow down, you got taken over." Because he understood, if you don't end up fighting the Europeans, once they take you over, they're gonna take me over and do the same tricks and tactics. So this nigga is lying. This nigga is lying. So I'm going to keep telling his lies.
Now that we've dusted ourselves off, we've been through child services. Oh, yes, I'm doing this. I'm going there. Yes, I'm going there. Oh, it's going to hurt. Oh, let's go there. I'm going.
Like, how? I don't get, what is he getting excited for? I don't get child service. You've been through child services. If you've been through child services, it's because of black Americans, or you in particular specifically, neglecting your children. That's like, how is Africa responsible for your mother or your father? You never see Tariq's father. That's one thing you never see. You never see his father. You never hear him talk about his father. You know, his father's probably in jail or OD, did some drug overdose shit and stuff like that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But how is another man and another people responsible directly for child services being called on your mother or on your father? I remember Tariq saying, when I used to follow him, that his mother even didn't raise him. He said his grandmother raised him, because he said he lived in Alabama. So it sounds like he's talking from personal experience. His mother was probably doing the same thing he said Mama Africa was doing. His mother was probably hoeing around, tricking around, right? She's like, look, I ain't got no time for this little nigga here. I got my life to live. And probably got mad dudes living her life and doing all this shit. And I was like, nah, you got to go to your grandmama, nigga. Like, oh, I got to live my life. And then when his mother got some act right after she's been all holed out and worn out, then she's like, oh, okay, come back to mama now. Come back, mama, miss her baby. You know what I'm saying? So all this sounds like projection and has nothing. What's the link here? And he's getting excited, like, oh, I'm going there. Like, what? This is all about not being accountable for your own fuck-ups. It's not being accountable for your bad parenting. You're gonna blame your mother's bad parenting on Africa? This makes no sense.
I'm going there. Yes, I'm going there. Because, see, y'all want to have this little perverse relationship with us now where you neglected us, the foundation of Black Americans. Mama Africa was out here bedwinching. I'm going there. Yes, I'm going there. Mama Africa was on crack. Mama Africa was laying up with the European powers, having a perverse relationship with the European power, just like crackheads do. You fell off.
And again, more projection. We all know on the plantation that you had black women was being forced to have force being raped by white men, by the overseers, by the plantation master, and everything, and to a point where it just came commonplace. Some black women now some black women like had it in their mind that, hey, look, this is going to happen, to the point where you have black women that's telling their 12, 14-year-old daughter, even younger, 9-year-old daughter, because white people are back then, or in slavery, are disgusting pedophiles, saying, hey, when master come does this to you, just let him now. It's going to hurt, but it going to be okay now. Just let him do it, and this how you do it. Like, look at Roots. Look at oh my gosh, what's that movie? I'm gonna remember that movie. I'm gonna put that movie in the comments. I think it was Mandingo. It was Mandingo and other slave narrative movies. You have a bunch of young girls be around a bunch of white men, and you have the black women coaching them. See how this is all projection? Africa was colonized, but we weren't put in chains and dehumanized. We were dehumanized, yes, but it was a different type of dehumanization. Slavery was worse, right? So this is really a Black American thing. This is a Black American experience that he has and he knows. And again, he's trying to put it directly on Africans and again, absolve the Europeans. Because the Europeans is a part of his family. The Europeans are his kin. That's what makes him a Black American. He has white ideology and a white mind frame, right? Because he got that white blood in him, and he made sure to keep that white bloodline flowing and going by picking his mulatto wife and being and shucking and jiving with his European family. But I'll let him continue with his cooning.
Neglected your kids. Let your kids go into the system while you out here having fun with Zaddy and running the streets and getting smutted out. And those kids you neglected, who you counted out, they dusted themselves off. They survived and became something and became the face of Black people globally, started to become successful.
Now, this is where I disagree when they pat themselves on their back. Okay, let's say even if we say it's true. I'm not diminishing the fact that Black Americans have done anything and have accomplished a lot, along with Africans and Caribbeans, because some of them are African and Caribbeans as well. But you got to understand, right, besides their accomplishments, they have a bigger venue. America is a venue. Black failed bitch-ass Americans don't own this venue. They are a part of the venue. So when white people allow your black ass to have a spot in the venue, that's not something you created. That's something that they have. They open the door a little bit so you could get in, so you could dance and smile and grin or do whatever you want to do as far as entertainment. So there's a bigger spotlight, right? So if the venue is Hollywood is the biggest entertainment venue in the world still today. Besides, you got other places like Bollywood, and China has their own thing and stuff like that. But Hollywood is a huge stage, and was at a time the only stage for years. So he's being, again, as usually, disingenuous and dishonest about why Black Americans are seen that way. So again, I'm gonna let him finish his Negro babble, his plantation house nigger babble.
In the face of black success, because we survived such a traumatic experience, like a lot of black children who go into the system do. A lot of black folks who go into the system, they deal with the abuse and then they come out shining.
Again, I know I keep harping on this point. The system is your white zaddy, as he would put it. The system is your white mama that black Americans have been sucking on the titty for over 200 years. That's the one that puts you in the system. That's who you are. That's Mama America that's doing that to you, right? It's not Mama Africa. Mama Africa didn't put you in the system. What African person or African country or African, African system put black people in the system in America, has developed a system in America to hurt black people? Make that make sense. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. All this is just hurt and deliberate projection, and again, letting white people off the hook for what they directly done to African Americans as far as putting them in the system. Child protective services, putting drugs in the neighborhood, and black people at the same time still using those drugs in the neighborhood. There's accounts of black people saying, yeah, I know the government did it, but I can get a payday. I know the government's putting drugs in my neighborhood, but hey, I could do this, I could do that. At the end of the day, black people made that decision. Africa didn't do that. That was America. Mama America.
That happens to a lot of black folks. For example, the R&B producer Kashif, he was adopted. They had him in the adoptive system, and he was abused as a kid. But while he was abused, he became a musical genius, one of the best producers out there.
Who abused him as a kid? His black parents? The white man? Or Africans? Who is they? I want to know who they is. But we know who they is. Black Americans.
You put us through a system of abuse, and you allow us to be abused, and then when we survive that and then thrive in spite of it and become stronger because we survived it, now the crackhead mama's coming around with her fur coat on, her little mangy fork. Hey, now.
It sounds like he's talking about Keisha Cole. It sounds like he's talking about Keisha Cole. He's not talking about any African that neglected their children. If we look in real life, that's a black American thing. When you look at certain examples that's pushed in front of you, that the media puts in front of you, at the same time black people participate in their own dehumanization and putting sad stories like that. So it's not like he's talking about Keisha Cole or Jim Jones' mother or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's these Americans and Americanized people that he's talking about, which is very shameful. It's like you putting your own people on blast.
Don't forget about your mama now. I'm still your mama. I'm still your mama now. We're not going to have a perverse relationship with you. Okay? Because that's the relationship y'all want to have with us now. We didn't die off. We started doing better. We survived one of the greatest atrocities in recorded history. And now people look to us with inspiration. I
don't know what people he's talking about, but yes, African Americans, black people in the Caribbean, and Brazilians have been through the greatest atrocities in human history, next to the sub-Saharan slave trade that happened in North Africa with the Arabs, the Islamic Muslim Arabs, trading black Africans, invading North Africa, and some North Africa to East Africa to West Africa, trying, with that enslavement that happened for about 12 to 1400 years, right? that, and the Atlantic slave trade was the worst atrocities of human genocide that has happened, right? So he wants to, again, he's being a coon. He wants us to say it was only black Americans, fully well knowing, according to his documentaries and his past rhetoric, knowing that it happened in the Caribbean. He himself said that most of the slaves went to the Caribbean, went to the Brazil, right? So it wasn't happening in America. Slavery in the Western Hemisphere, in the so-called New World, kicked off in Brazil and kicked off in the Caribbean. That's where the mistreatment and the dehumanization started off. But I'll let him continue with his lies.
Inspiration. And now y'all want to come around wanting to claim us. It's just like these deadbeat fathers who sit there and neglect their kids, and all of a sudden their kids become huge basketball stars or football stars, and now the dad want to show up to the recruiting.
Again, another African American example. Another example with this that comes to my mind very quickly is Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal didn't grow up with his biological father. Shaquille O'Neal grew up with his stepfather. I remember when Shaquille O'Neal was growing up, he even, his real father came back trying to come in his life, to the point where he hated that so much, he made a video kind of like dissing his biological father, and his stepfather was in the video saying Phil is my father and all this other stuff and things like that. So I'm gonna see if I can post that video up. But again, he's putting black Americans and how dysfunctional they are on blast and try to link it to Africa somehow. Again, absolving them of their own dysfunctional behavior. Again, absolving them of the person who put them in this situation and their abuser, which is Mama Africa and their zaddy. Not Mama Africa, I'm sorry, Mama America and their zaddy. He has to absolve them of that because this Negro loves white people. He deliberately picked a mulatto woman because she is not 100% black, right? She could kind of pass for black phenotypically, but he loved the fact that she's genetically not 100% black. And by default, he's going to have white people in his family. This is who y'all listening to.
Day. That's my boy right there. I knew he was going to be something. I sure knew he was going to be somebody. Your teeth missing. You neglected him.
And again, it sounds like he's talking about his own father. I don't know if any of you know, have Tariq ever mentioned anything about his father? Not at all. Well, obviously he's no big success or anything like that in that regard, but it kind of sounds like, he's talking from personal experience. So, sounds like he's talking about his pops.
And now you want to show up to the damn NFL draft. No, sit your ass down. All right? Sit your ass down. Let's keep it a buck. We're not having no perverted relationship like that. And let me relationship we have with Mama Africa. We have a perverse relationship. They want to claim us now that we understand who we are and we understand our strengths, we understand our lineage, and we're taking control of the narrative of who we are. Ladies and gentlemen. But the thing...
Again, who they are Africans. Africans removed from the continent, grown up under the duress of white supremacy with white supremacist influences. That's what a black American is. A broken African that has grown up under white people, under duress, and pretty much persevered with how should I put it? Persevered under scrutiny, belittlement, and dehumanization. That's what happened, and that's what has to do with their present and current slave masters. Nothing to do with Africans.
Is the Mama Africa thing. This is what Mama Africa is right here. This is Mama Africa. Mama Africa is still doing stuff like this. This came out today. Jodie Turner Smith, who's African, by the way. She's up there in Britain, but she's African. And she blocked me a year or so ago, by the way, because her bed winching is just through the roof. Jodie Turner Smith poses nude on a hotel balcony with Joshua Jackson. Now, this is her with her zaddy. All right. This is her. All right. This perverse looking picture here, we had to cover it up with some Jollof. This looks like a...
So again, he takes one African, this is like, I don't want to see this part. I'm going to block this. He's going to take one bed-winching African, and this woman is supposed to represent all of Africa, all African women. You see the dishonesty here? You have Black American women who also zaddies it up with white men. Again, his wife is a product of bed bucking and bed winching. So again, this is fake outrage. He's not really that mad. You can't be that mad. If everyone was on code, like he were to say, he wouldn't have the wife that he has right now. He'll have a black woman, even though he picked the fact that his wife wasn't 100% black is the reason why he picked his wife or whatever. But he again, he's being no intelligent person, someone that likes to just shit on other people, someone who just feels like shit, that wants to feel that they're better than other people, will co-sign to this narrative. Will just agree with, so this one African woman does it, so hey, all African people do it. I don't even know who this trick is, but jollof is a Nigerian dish. I don't even think he knows he's Nigerian, but he says, well, I guess all people eat jollof rice. This is how ignorant he is. So, like I said, there's lots of Black American women that are celebrities that be with white men, and it's like, it's very cringe worthy. Like if you see in my other videos, there's even that he neglected to mention that there's these smut books about white men and black women, and those authors are Black American women, right? This is their fantasy. So for him to put one African woman and say, well, all African women are like this, he's lying, right? And he depends on this so he can have his own little mulatto wife. So he's kind of co-signing this, not condemning this. He condemns it in public, but benefits from it privately. Like, give me a break.
Slave auction, okay? This looks like a damn slave auction, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jodie Turner up here butt naked on a balcony out here with this little perverse ass slave play nonsense thing. This is Mama Africa right there, all right? That's Mama Africa for you right there. Them women come over here, they come over here or go to Britain, and the first thing on their mind is, how do I be the biggest bed wench on earth? That's Mama Africa for you right there. Yeah, I'm good. If that's Mama Africa, I'm good. That's why we're in the position.
No, I'm going to let him finish because he's going to lie.
We're in now. That right there is Mama Africa.
What position is that? What position is that? Who made Black Americans sleep up with white people after slavery? It's not slavery no more. You got your Serena Williams, I'm sorry, got herself a white man. You got all these, you got Eve, she got herself a white man. What they got to do with these are American women. You got all these Black American women up with white men. You got black men also with a whole bunch of white women. So they're just a null and void, and that's what you guys have done, and that's why the situation that you're in. There's no black solidarity when it comes to procreation at all. You guys are the one laying up with people. No one's forcing you guys to lay up with white people. You guys are laying up with white people because you are white. That's a part of Black American culture where white people is something to strive to be for and to be, right? So you get a white man, that's like a trophy. You have accomplished something. You get a white woman, that's like a trophy. You have accomplished something. You have arrived. So again, he is lying. He's making irrational generalizations and say that's indicative of all Africans. When right here in America and right under his house, he's doing the same thing.
God damn it, that's what it is. I'm cool on that. You don't sell me on Mama Africa if that's what's Mama Africa right now. This little perverse, they think that little slave play goofball nonsense, they think that shit is cute. That's all they do is get on TikTok and do this little perverse racial showcasing slave play garbage. I'm good. Somebody says she's Jamaican. I thought her family's from Africa somewhere. Oh, I see some tethers in the room mad. I don't give a damn if you're mad. I see some tethers. Y'all throwing some Joel off at the screen. Fuck you, nigga. You full of shit, nigga. All right, be mad. That's what it is. We're calling.
No, it's calling your bullshit. And when we say something and we put you on blast, I'm pretty sure they got Black Americans right now throwing chitlins and and cornbread at the screen. Like, what the fuck these niggas talking about here? Talking about all this shit about Black American, FBA. Fuck y'all niggas throwing cornbread and chitlins and grits. Like please. Because you lying. If people try to check you, you know what I'm saying? Take it. You know what I'm saying? You talking shit and people are going to talk shit back. It's that simple. Mama America.
Mama Africa out with all of that. Is that what Mama Africa is doing? I see some people, some tethers in the room mad right now. Their bedroom is getting very musty with anger and perspiration right now. They're very mad right now. Don't get mad. Get mad at the bed wenches and the mammies over there in your homeland who's coming.
But you're not going to get mad at the mammies. A mammy is a Black American term for the Black women, like I said, that was in master quarters, cooking and cleaning and making sure Mary Sue was all pretty like, making sure she looked good. And sometimes master just have his way with me, but that's just how it is. So what he's doing is projection, right? That's something that Black Americans do. You know what I'm saying? Because Black Americans, again, have been bedwinching since slavery to this day. So don't look at individual people, right, and say, not individual people, look at people in general, Africans in general, and say, yes, they all do that. When you know that is a part of Black American culture from since slavery. You have a plantation culture, sir.
Over with this slave play perverted nonsense. I'm good on it. I'm cool. Don't need it. Yeah?
Yeah, dig.
Yeah, we're good. We FBA, man.
You did?
We're FBA, we're Foundation of Black Americans, we're
Fuck
good.
Boy.
We're good. But let's be clear. This whole thing where when we look out for our nationality, they're like, oh, y'all niggas against y'all are just against immigration. So what? So what if we're against immigration? Let me be very clear. Most of the so-called Black leaders or Black spokespersons before 1960, most of them were against immigration. Foundational Black Americans generally have always been against immigration.
Wow. You see how he's all over the place? Now look, wow. First, these chicken head, cotton picking fools are gonna say we fought for immigration. We fought for you to get here. And all these other things. We did all these things. Y'all need to pay homage to us. All these lies and all these made up victories that they give themselves. Now he's going to say, we didn't care about immigration at all until the 60s because of Dr. Martin Luther King and yada, 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 yada. I think that's what he's going to say, right? But you did it anyway. Either you cared about immigration or you didn't care about immigration. Like, you can't have it both ways.
Let me be very clear. W.B. Du Bois was, Frederick Douglass was. A lot of black spokespersons were against immigration.
More lies. Oh, God. They were against immigration as far as like white immigration and immigration, like it always has been before the 1965 Immigration Act, because they were mostly bringing in white people from certain European countries, right, as laborers, right? So that undermining the black working class, because the whites didn't want to, even though black people had all those skills, they didn't want to employ black people in masses because obviously black people would gain economical power and they didn't have to depend on the United States for breaking that promise of 40 acres and a mule. So they didn't want to empower black people economically, legally, by giving them jobs. So immigration of other white laborers would help them not do that. They weren't against, again, and his audience are idiots, because anyone that knows anything about those people will know that they weren't fighting against black immigrants. Pretty much to end here. I can't take no more of his ignorance and tomcoonery and white ass kissing and white worshiping ideology. So the only thing he's gonna say about here is about, remember, if you remember the last video that I made about Tariq Nakoon, was about how he's gonna lose the flag, the failed bitch ass American flag, and how he's probably might switch over to another flag. I'm not even gonna post up the other flag, but if you know anything about it, he's gonna use a new flag, and he's now currently using a new flag. You know what? I'll show it to you real quick. So he's gonna switch to this one and try to easily get away from that, from the failed bitch ass American flag. So that's what's gonna happen, because he's probably not gonna fight for that patent anymore. But anyway, Mama Black America, that's what it's about. That's what he fought for. That's what he loves. And unfortunately, the lower class of black Americans, this is what they want, and this is what you got. Mama Black America, enjoy. Thanks for watching. Peace.